Okay, folks, here we are. Welcome back to another episode. But this time around, we're doing something a little different. What I want to do this time is instead of going each episode post game, I want to review the week and sit with you guys, review the week a little bit. So this way I don't have to do each post game. Maybe give you a summarization of everything, but also as the emotions come down, we can look at this with a bit more easier eyes and not be as emotional about the games and look at them a little bit clearer. I want to take a look at the Raptors, the Pacers, and the Bucks game for the week that just passed, and we will go from there. This one was a tough game. The Raptors really had their way. We scored 34 points in the first quarter, but then we scored 23 points, 22 points, and 25. Raptors, however, 26 in the first, 27, 38 in the third. So another third quarter in which the Knicks kind of collapsed, if you will. And then 22nd in the fourth. And they really pulled away. It rained threes a lot. OG Anunoby had 36 points on 13 of 27 field goals. Made his free throws too. RJ Barrett had 27, 9 of 13, and 4 of 6. Overall, our field goals 43% for the Raptors, 46% for the Knicks. So we shot a little bit better than they did. From three, we did shoot better, 42%. Turnovers, we had 17 turnovers, which means their defense was really pressuring us and they out rebounded us. If you go on ESPN, they give you this little like split game flow and stuff like that whenever if anyone gets the opportunity. But look, if you notice around the end of the first quarter, the Knicks took somewhat of a big lead, and then by the time we got to about 10 minutes into the third, they started coming back, getting closer, chipping away, and then eventually you start getting the lead. Let's take a look at the box score. Wow, 36 points, 6 rebounds. Fred VanVleet, 9 rebounds, 8 assists, 17 points. That really helps. Those are really good guard numbers to have. Gary Trent Jr. went off 43%, 33%, and they made all their free throws pretty much, 13 of 14. Whereas for the Knicks, we had two players in the 20s, RJ 27, Randall 22, but it was a very hard 22. Those 22 points came at very odd times throughout the game. Those sort of points are good for the when we're looking at stats, right? But during the game, they could come at better times. And overall, really, it's just the starters did most of the work. The bench, IQ, 7 points, 5 assists. That's really good. I think that's great for him. Eventually, his defense will bring back his offense. This one was a tough loss because we had the opportunity to beat them. They were down Pascal, but scrappy team, very scrappy team. They fought hard. They made the threes when it counted. When they were down, they brought themselves back, which I think was very good of them. You know, it's tough when this team who's trying to fight for an opportunity is fighting for an opportunity and they upend you at home, which is something I think I'm a little worried about for the Knicks, is that they're worried about their home record because, you know, realistically as a fan, you're telling yourself, okay, if I'm a Knicks fan, I want to go to home games at the Garden. If they're going to lose a lot of the games at the Garden, fans will start to think that first it's them, that they're the reason why. So maybe if they don't go, maybe they'll do better at home. And then second, those home games are going to be very important, especially when it comes time to the playoffs. If teams can see that they can beat you at home, it's like they're going home for a home game during the playoffs. And then if they're going to MSG, whoever it's going to be, especially a team like Atlanta, who's ready to take on that stage again, they'll fight for that stage if they have any opportunity to do that, to see the Knicks in the first round or playing or anything like that. Just to beat the Knicks at home, Atlanta would totally want to do that. We can't let these teams upend us. So 113, 104. At that point, we were 5-2, and the Raptors were 5-3. Going on to the Pacers game, this one was a little tough as well. I think Miles Turner going off, and there was a few times where just those threes, daggers just completely hurt us. We managed to get Sabonis to a little bit off of what his norm would be. And I think the Knicks have that where they want to make sure that they shut down as many people as they can so that only maybe one person or two people can do their best to beat the Knicks without letting the whole team defeat the Knicks. But in this case, this guy went off, and a lot of the team wound up doing really well enough that they beat us. RJ led the way with 23 points, 8 of 20 shooting. Miles Turner had 25 points, 9 of 14. Did not make any free throws, though. Very interesting. So Indiana shot better from the field. They also shot better from three, and the Knicks did not shoot well from three. We did not turn the ball over as much as the Pacers did, but we were out-rebounded by the Pacers. We go down to this little thing over here. If you notice the game flow, we were down a lot, trying our best to come back up. Here was the best opportunity, 83-85, 9:47 left in the fourth. Derrick Rose makes a 2-point shot. And then what happens? TJ McConnell makes a three-point jumper. Oh, yeah. And then I think his name is Goga. He made a three. And from there, it was just off to the races for all of them. Let's check out the box score. Randall, 18 points, 14 rebounds. He did have a double-double. Fournier had 14. What did Kemba do? 4 points? You know, I said this on a post on my channel, but at what point will we start to revisit? We should have done the trade for Colin Sexton during the summer. I'm not sure if that conversation will come up, but say if Kemba isn't favorable in Knicks fans' eyes, and if his performance isn't up to par with what Knicks fans are hoping for, at what point will that talk come back? On the bench, though, Alec Burks, 10 points. D. Rose had 13 points. That's right. D. Rose pretty early had the juice, and he really, really tried. But then a little bit more towards the second half, this team kind of did their thing. I mean, 36 points in the first quarter. We kind of held them down in the third to 21 points. We were getting there. But then they scored 31 points in the fourth to our 23. And it's a little tough. It's a little tough when you have to come up. See, Sabonis, 10 points and 7 rebounds. But then Miles Turner, 25 points, 13 rebounds. Brogdon, 17 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. Karis LeVert, 21 points. Karis LeVert was balling out. 8 of 18. You know, maybe didn't shoot entirely well, but he had good points. And Torrey Craig, I think he was on the Suns, I want to say. Oh, was he the one who was on the Bucks and then traded to the Suns? And no matter what, he would have gotten a ring? Maybe. I guess he's on the Pacers now. You know, TJ McConnell did not burn us. He's normally a Knick killer. I'm glad that we were able to get TJ McConnell off our back, because that guy's a Knick killer, man. I don't know what happens to him, but he balls out when he plays the Knicks. See, they have Brogdon, Sabonis, Turner, Karis LeVert. And listen, they started a rookie. Chris Duarte is starting for this team. They have some flaws, but overall, I'm surprised that they're not as good as they are at the moment. Who knows? Maybe they might recover, because they do have a bona fide all-star. Sabonis was an all-star last season. I guess it is what it is. Let's look at the team stats. We shot 20% from three. That's not good. Offensive rebounds. We did get more offensive rebounds overall. In situations, sure. The assist game is going to be something that I'm interested in seeing for the Knicks, because at one point I was thinking to myself, you know, the 6 assists from Kemba, the 4 assists from Evan Fournier, those could help, and those will add more, because we weren't really getting that from Reggie. Maybe we got a little bit of that from Peyton last season, because naturally as the point guard, you do wind up passing somehow, some way to someone who will make a shot. At what point do we start to feel a little cautious? I would say January, February, I would want to rethink this thought. Right now, while we're still trying to find them ourselves, while the West is still like wild over there, and the East is trying to establish, okay, there's a bunch of players. Now let's see who's going to get on the main stage, and then who's going to be the understudies, and then who'll eventually be play-ins and things like that. Those will start to even out. Maybe January, February, after the All-Star break, a good portion of the teams will probably understand who they are, and some other smaller teams will fight for those spots, for those 9 and 10 spots. Pacers fouled us a bit more, so that's something to remember. And we also got more points in the paint. So when we see them again, that's something that we have to consider. We had no largest lead, while the Pacers' largest lead was 15. Next, I want to look at the Bucks. And this was a great game. Whew. This one was a tough one. And I noticed that the fan reaction was a little down once we got into the half. If you stuck with it, you really got a good show. You don't want shows like these too much. You want wins more than anything, because these are not, you don't want to have to go through every roller coaster of emotion. You want to be able to win as smooth as possible. But a win is a win nonetheless. Now, the Bucks did not have Chris Middleton, and they did not have Brook Lopez. So keep that in mind. Randall, 32 points on 11 for 22 from the field, 7 of 10 for his free throws. Giannis, 25 points, 9 of 11 free throws. The guy who couldn't make his free throws made his free throws tonight. Good on him. He also won a championship making his free throws. Something to keep in mind. The tide kind of changed in the first quarter, 8 minutes, and then they really led the way up until 5:41 in the second quarter. And then we started to get hot. And then eventually the breaking point was 1:58 in the third. And then what happens? RJ makes a layup. Derrick Rose makes a 26-foot running pull-up jump shot. Yeah, not bad. Not bad. This was 100% attendance, guys. So the fans really did want to see the Bucks and the Knicks play. At this point, where are we? 4 and 5 are the Bucks, 6 and 3 are the Knicks. Let's take a look at the box score. Randall, 32 points, 11 of 22 from the field, 12 rebounds. Not too bad. Coming into his own, slowly but surely. But listen, as Knicks fans, I think we need to understand that this guy puts up 32. RJ had 20, 7 rebounds, 3 assists on 8 of 21 though. RJ's got to be very careful with his shots. 2 of 7 from 3. He was trying to make some threes. D Rose really helped out. Man, 23 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists on 10 of 18 shooting. D Rose will shoot double digits. I noticed that he likes to do that. But the thing is, he can. The thing is, he has that ability. And we also had a Kevin Knox sighting. 1 minute, 1 point. Whoa, Kevin Knox. About this game quickly, and then I want to get into a little bit of things that I did see. This game really pulled at your heartstrings. It almost seemed as if it was going to be the same stuff over and over again. And this time, a team is getting up on us, and we're going to lose. But if you stayed, if you watched, and you really took the time and just saw the little things that they did, you'll notice that D Rose really led the squad. And D Rose really took the time. Got everybody an opportunity. RJ Barrett helped out. Julius helped out. And IQ kind of got a little bit of a swagger back in this game as well. A couple of guys I saw slightly worried about. Alec Burks' role. That's one person that I'm worried about. I know he did well in one of the games, and typically he's one of those guys that'll score 19 one game, and then he'll score 11, and then 12, and then 6, and then miss a few games or something like that. But I think his role will be interesting. I really hope that he gets more time to show off his passing ability, but also his scoring, because he's a pretty decent scorer too, and he's great for a championship team. Alec Burks, you definitely want Alec Burks on a championship team, because he can get you, if you're up by 3 and he's in the game, if the ball's moving well, you can wind up being up by 6 or 9 even, Now, Noel came back, which is really good. A lot of people say Nerlens Noel isn't a rim protector, but I like to say that Nerlens Noel can protect the rim. When he came back, you really saw the old, gritty defensive Knicks from last season. And as interesting as this is, Nerlens Noel is a defensive anchor for this team. And he's really good. Really, really good at maintaining himself. Even though sometimes, he does foul and then wonder why he got the foul. Even though he kind of did foul. But still, our bigs they're not offensively minded, but they're defensively there and they're defensively present. One issue that I had with Tibbs was not putting Jericho Sims in some of the games. He went back to his old ways of, okay, I'm losing and I need to make sure that my starters are getting the quality minutes and the people that are hot. There are certain points where I think you got to give this kid some time. Jericho Sims, Deuce McBride, and Grimes. These guys have to see the floor at least at some point. Even if it's a minute or so, try your best to put them in at garbage time as much as you can. Let's say during a second free throw, after the first free throw, you make a substitution, you put in two of the guys for a possession or two, and then you make some subs. I would like Tibbs to kind of try that more, because Grimes we kind of see him as this shooter, as this three-point shooter. He needs to work on the shot. McBride, the moment that you let this guy out and the moment that he gets properly sound defensively, this guy has the potential to be a beast or a very, very good defensive stopper on guards, on your point guard, on your shooting guard. I think if we really invest in these three guys and show them a little bit more, it might take a little bit of the pressure off. Say come February, March, when D Rose may need to sit, when Kemba may need to sit a little bit, these guys will need some sort of exposure soon. And Tibbs not putting these guys in for 3 or 4 games and then putting them in for 7 seconds left on the clock in the second half or the first half or the third half. Mostly I've seen him in the second half. That's not learning fundamentals. You're just putting them on the floor so they can touch the floor and feel the audience, which has its benefits, but they need to touch the ball for a possession or two. Increase their games a little, increase their minutes a little bit. If you know it's a back-to-back or something like that. Get them ready in the first game so this way come second game they're a bit faster because they have the movement of the game. So that's one critique that I would want to say. And also, for this week in the games, it was 1 win and 2 losses. We are veering more towards shooting the three-pointer more, but I believe we're veering a little away from shooting the mid-range game. And we're veering away from getting a little creative with our playmaking abilities and movement from almost every player off the ball. I think that's something that the Knicks can kind of hunker down on a little bit, because we don't want to be predictable. They don't want to come to us and say, all right, well, we know what they're going to do, so at least we're prepared for it. If we make a mistake, sure, but at least we know what's going on. We kind of have to give them something they've seen before, but have not seen it before. Take a look at the schedule really quick. 6-3. We just beat the Bucks. We lost to the Pacers, and we lost to the Raptors. Next week, I'm probably going to do Cleveland, Philadelphia, Milwaukee, and then Charlotte. You can check out all those reviews on my channel as well. Charlotte Hornets was just put up recently, but otherwise all these reviews are up, and I'm hoping that we get all 4 of them, but we'll see what's going on. All right, guys, thanks for your time. Later.